Right now, you feel like you could stop watching or keep going. That choice feels obviously completely yours. But what if it was never really up to you? What if every decision you have ever made was the only one you could have made? This is the question of free will, and the honest answer is stranger than either side will admit. Start with what it feels like from the inside. You stand at a fork. You weigh the options. You lean one way, you catch yourself, you choose. In that moment, the future feels open, like a road that splits in two and you are the one holding the wheel. Nothing seems more obvious. Your sense of being free is not a belief you argue for, it is the water you swim in. Every plan you make, every regret you carry, every time you blame someone or thank them, all of it assumes that the person could have done otherwise. Take that assumption away, and the whole human world starts to wobble. So we hold on to it tightly. But here is the uncomfortable thing about feelings. They are not evidence. The sun feels like it moves across the sky. The ground feels perfectly still beneath you. Both feelings are wrong. So before we trust the feeling of freedom, we have to ask a harder question. When you made that choice at the fork, what actually caused it? Trace any decision backward and it dissolves into causes. You chose the left road because of what you wanted. You wanted it because of your memories, your mood, your hunger, the kind of brain you were born with, and the life that shaped it. None of those did you choose. They were handed to you by genetics and history and the firing of cells you have no access to. Your brain is a physical object, and physical objects follow from what came before. In the 1980s, the scientist Benjamin Libet wired people up and found something unsettling. The brain showed signs of starting a movement a fraction of a second before the person felt they had decided to move. The decision, it seemed, was already underway before you knew you had made it. The experiment is still argued over, and it does not prove as much as headlines claim. But it points at a real worry. If every choice is just the next link in a chain of causes you did not author, then the chooser starts to look like a passenger who only thinks they are driving. Unless cause and effect is not the whole story. Some hope the escape is hiding in physics itself. At the smallest scale, the universe is not a clean chain of dominoes. It is fuzzy, probabilistic, undecided until it happens. Maybe the thought goes, that is where freedom slips in, a genuine gap in the causal wall, a place where the future really is open. It is a beautiful idea. It also does not work. Picture the gap filled with pure randomness. A choice that happens because a particle wobbled is not yours in any way that matters. It is a coin flip wearing your face. If determinism makes you a passenger, randomness makes you a dice roll, and neither of those is the thing you wanted, which was authorship. You wanted the choice to come from you. So now the trap looks total. If your decision is caused, it traces back to things you did not choose. If it is uncaused, it is just noise. Either way, the free and sovereign self seems to vanish. That looks like checkmate. But notice something. Maybe the trap was built by a bad question. Here is the move that 2 centuries of philosophers have been making. What if freedom was never about escaping cause in the first place? Think about what you actually mean when you call an act free. You do not mean it was uncaused. You mean it came from you, from your own values and reasons, and nobody forced your hand. Compare 2 people drinking tea. One chooses it because she likes it. The other drinks it because a stranger is holding a knife to her back. Both events have causes. Only one is free, and you knew which instantly. The difference was never about breaking the chain of cause. It was about where the cause lived. Inside her character or outside it and against her will. This view is called compatibilism. and the philosopher David Hume gave it its modern shape. Freedom, he said, is not the absence of causes. It is acting on your own causes without being coerced. You are not a break in nature, you are a particular knot in it, one that wants things, weighs them, and acts. The fork was real. You really did the choosing. It is just that the chooser was made of causes all along. But does that actually satisfy, or is it just a comforting new name for the same cage? Be honest about what we lost and what we kept. The magical version is probably gone, the soul that floats above the brain and reaches down to nudge it, free from biology and history. Nothing we know suggests that self exists. But look at what survives. There is still a system here that takes in reasons and is moved by them, that can hear an argument and change its mind, that learns from yesterday and bends tomorrow. That is not nothing. That is the only thing we ever really meant by a person. And it is why responsibility does not collapse. We hold you accountable not because you could have defied physics, but because you are the kind of creature that responds to being held accountable. Praise and blame are not rewards for breaking the chain. They are how reason-following animals shape each other. So maybe you are not free from the universe. Maybe you are something more interesting. You are the place where the universe stops and thinks before it acts. The fork in the road was real. You were the one who turned. So, do you actually have free will? Maybe not the magic kind, but the kind that deliberates, that can be reasoned with, that grows, that one is sitting right where you are, watching this, deciding what to think. The question has split brilliant minds for thousands of years, so I want to know where you land. Free, determined, or somewhere stranger in between? Tell me in the comments. And if you like thinking about the things everyone else takes for granted, subscribe and stay curious.